Welcome to Raw Talk, Real Healing.
It's like therapy, but with more laughs and less copays.
I'm Gabby.
And I'm Diana.
We're licensed therapists.
But here, we just want to have raw and unapologetic conversations.
So come vibe with us, where professional meets personal.
Let's get it.
Welcome back, guys, to an all-new Raw Talk, Real Healing, rebranding, construction complete. Let's get it.
Okay.
How you feeling? Good?
I was going to ask you, but yes, I am feeling really good. Had lots of doctor's appointments yesterday, and I finally got my life figured out. It's actually really exciting. Advocated for myself, got the answers that I need to life, and things are going to be looking up.
Okay. Maybe you can tell me later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Two diagnoses, but it's fine. Medical, not
Right.
mental.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really liking today's topic
Yeah,
because this is a real one. And I think this was requested.
it was.
So shout out to you.
Ooh.
Cutting off relationships.
Shit's hard.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Friends, family, parents.
I think that's the hardest one.
That is.
Like, could you imagine? People are like, but they're your parents. You only get one set of parents. Love them, love them, love them. But what if they're shit?
I know some shitty ass parents. I'm just
Same.
going to say that. Like, I
Mhm.
know some really shitty ass parents. And like, because I'm a big family person,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always like, you got to make it work out. Like,
Mhm.
anything for the family. Like, we go hard or go home.
Yeah.
Like, you got to have forgiveness. But then I see and hear different things, and I'm like, that one's tough.
Yeah.
That one's tough.
Okay, so one thing that I think I see a lot often is when people outgrow relationships. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
sometimes I think people are friends with each other for so long, or family members too, that they were once super close, and maybe somebody has gone through their own shit and their own trauma that maybe changed them, and then they realize that they've outgrown this other person, and that's a really hard reality to accept.
Who do you think is harder for, though? Do you think it's harder for the person who outgrew them? Or do you think it's harder for the other person on the other side? Like, damn.
I think it's harder for the person who outgrew them, because they're ultimately the ones that's going to make that decision of whether or not it's time to walk away.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, if we're friends and I've gone through all this growth and I'm like, you know what, Diana, really motherfucking toxic. This bitch, you gotta go.
Mhm. How would you tell me that?
That's a good question.
It is. Yeah.
I think we would have to have a really hard conversation. I think I would have to express what my boundaries are
Mhm.
and maybe express like what I need, maybe, I guess.
Mhm.
Like what my needs are in a relationship, or what you're doing that might have hurt me. And I feel like we could have that conversation one time, maybe another time, but 3 times. What's that song? Fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. Ooh, that's me.
Oh, yeah. J. Cole.
J. Cole, yeah. Shout out. But yeah, we would have to have a conversation, and then I think I would then say, like, you know, I love you and I love this relationship that we have, but I've expressed like how you've been hurting me, or I've expressed like different things, and it just doesn't seem to be working out anymore.
Like, would you say it like that to me? Like, I feel like that conversation, I don't know how it would look like, because it would be a hard conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Do
what
you
I
mean like, would it be more like not thought out in that aspect?
Yeah.
For me personally, no.
Okay.
No, because I feel like I've worked really hard on talking nice to others, because before I used to not. And I used to just be really blunt and be like, I told you I needed this and I really don't like that, and maybe we can't be friends.
I feel like for me, it's the opposite.
You will come crazy? How would you tell me?
No, I feel like I was so super nice, like people pleasing. And now I'm just not worried about that. Like, now I don't feel like I got to tell you or give you this whole elaborate story of why I gotta go or why I can't fuck with you like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So you saying you're just gonna ghost?
No. I'm saying like in general. You know what I mean? Like where I don't know. Like at first, I probably wouldn't even do it because I would be like nervous or scared. Or, like if I did, I probably would try to have this whole like I would have it mapped out. What I'm saying is, I'm gonna come up to you and like, listen, this is what I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I will always start with like, this is coming from a good place. You know, I love you.
Yeah.
But this ain't going nowhere, or this isn't it for me. You know what I mean?
So, but that would be after you've already kind of expressed how you were feeling, or would there be no warning? Just, I'm out. Like what?
I feel like it just depends on who you are.
Because I feel like people in relationships, like they try to stick it out and they try to make it work so often. And then they get to that point where it's like, this isn't working. And then they have to realize what their ceiling is at that point. Like, what is your limit of like, okay, now I'm out.
Yeah.
So are you saying like you wouldn't even explain why you're going to be out at that point? You would just be out.
No, I think I would. I'll have a conversation,
Right.
especially like saying it was like you and I.
Yeah.
I'll have a conversation with you.
What would you say? What's like your opinion or your belief if someone is just like ending a friendship and chooses to not say anything? Like they have all of their beliefs and all of their feelings in their head and they're like, you know what? I'm fucking done with this. This person's this, and this, and then like crickets.
If you were my client, I'd be like, are you good with that? Is that going to help you sleep at night?
What if they say yeah?
Then that's your choice. You just have to be ready for consequences. Every choice has a consequence, a positive one or a negative one. And some come with both. Some is immediate, right? And I always think about like, okay, think about this. Because instant gratification, right? I'm thinking, let me just cut this person off. Longevity, I don't know if I'm okay with that. You know,
right? Like I feel like you might have questions about like, should I have tried differently? Should I have said something? Should I have tried to have a conversation? So that's why like like if it was us, I would have that conversation of like, this is what I'm feeling.
So that's why I asked that question, because if you tell me you'll have these questions, then we're going to process and unpack all those questions right now. Did you try? Did this happen?
Right.
What does this mean for you? You know what I mean? Because it's tough. It's tough. I personally know people who, let's just say parents, right? Where they've caused so much havoc in their lives. I'm talking about in their immediate family, like people who are now on their own, like they have their own family to raise and like they try to, you know, bring them in and like it's just freaking chaos. You know what I mean? I feel like those are boundaries now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like now you're messing with my immediate family. Like people have to respect that.
Right.
You know?
Especially when I think you're an adult child at that point. But I think also, and you might not agree with this, but within those boundaries, I think there is also a part of like, if it were my parents, I have to accept who my parents are too. Like I can't keep thinking that they're going to be somebody who they're not and then getting mad at them every time that they do something that matches like the fake version I have of them in my head.
That's a good one. I like that. Because sometimes we have this idea of potential. What this relationship could potentially be. And parents too. I think sometimes parents have this idea or in their head, like, we're going to be besties forever. Or like, we didn't have this type of relationship and now we're going to grow into this type of relationship. And like, sometimes that's just not how it works. Right. You know what I mean? And some parents are selfish.
Yes.
They really are. Unfortunately, that's what it is. But like you said, I gotta know who that is. And I have to put that boundary. Hey, you might not like that boundary, but that's, you know, as long as it's respectful.
Right.
then you got to do what you got to do. Because how many times can you cause havoc and disrespect in somebody's home and then leave, give it some time, come back like everything's all good, and then do that shit all over again? And now we're just rinse and repeat.
Right. So I think it's definitely accepting who they are, but then also having that boundary. Like if they are causing too much havoc and if they are causing all of this chaos, I think, yeah, maybe it is time to love them from afar. And I think we've said before, like, just because we're no longer close doesn't mean I hate you, doesn't mean I wish you will, but I'm just going to love you from a distance. And that's okay too.
And also, you got to figure out what type of trauma that you haven't worked through that you continue to allow that to happen.
Yes.
What attachment style are you really suffering with at that point? Also, I know that sometimes when we are in a space of like really working through things and you can feel like really empowered, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to cut this person off. I don't care. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And it feels good at first.
Especially in the moment of anger.
Yeah.
Like if I'm really angry with you and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. In a few minutes, or not a few minutes actually, but in time, you're going to sit with that and you're going to be like, damn, that really sucks. There is going to be grief that comes with that.
Oh, 100%. And that's the part. Like, are you ready to grieve? Because grief is a bitch.
It is.
You know, so that's another thing to pay attention to. I know someone too who is just really like, I always just want to like be respectful and like honor my mom, honor my dad, like honor my parents. And it's hard.
Yes.
It's really hard because sometimes you just want to be like, I don't got time for this.
Right. But I think that's where that acceptance comes in. Like accepting that this is who they are. We can't change them. They're not ready to change or willing to change. So it's just accepting them for who they are.
Oh, that's good. I was thinking about like sometimes when we think we can change, like sometimes parents think they can change their child and vice versa. Sometimes you think your parent will change, and that's just not how it works.
Right. But I think like you can still love your parents and love your friends or love different family members. And that doesn't mean that they have access to your everyday life.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if the way that you are in my life and it creates havoc that much or like on a daily or weekly basis, I can't allow you that access.
Right. And I feel like I just thought about this in the moments where you're trying to set boundaries with people that you feel like they're not respecting. You can set boundaries with how much you allow them into your life rather than saying like, I don't agree with this and I need you to respect that. Okay, you don't have to respect that, but I am just not going to allow you to be as big of a part of our lives or of my life as you once were.
Yeah. I mean, and this is, we talking about parents, but that's the same with friends and family. All the same.
Yeah.
You know,
I think a big part about like grieving relationships, even if it's not your parents, is especially like we were mentioning, like growing out of relationships and things like that. A big part of that is recognizing that, you know, this once served me and I thought I had everything figured out. Like I thought this person was going to be my husband, or I thought that this person was going to be my wife. I thought this person was going to be my maid of honor. I thought this person was going to just be in my life for the long haul. And sometimes that ends up looking differently. And it's really hard to see life without these people because they've been there for so long. But when we outgrow somebody, why are we going to allow them a seat at our table if they don't make us feel good?
Okay.
I
like that. I like that. Like, how long are you going to do that? That reminds me, like, what is your limit? How many times are you going to try to work shit out before you realize it ain't fucking working?
Exactly.
What it is doing is literally tearing your family apart.
Right.
You got to know when to stop. And that's why I say you have to work on your own shit because there's something there that you want to hold on to that shit so bad.
Right.
You know, and make something work, and you're not realizing you have surpassed your capacity. And not only that, maybe your limit is a little higher, but what about everybody else? that's counting on you?
Mm-hmm.
What about everybody else that is expecting you to carry them in a household, be a leader or whatever it is, and you continue to make decisions because of what? Because it's a close friend or it's,
Right.
you know, this person for a long time
Right.
or your parent. Like, no, you have to learn how to navigate that because we all have limits.
I don't know if I asked you. I asked you this earlier, and this just keeps coming back to me. But you answered it back as like, if you were my client. What if I was your friend and I came up? Well, I am your friend, but like, what if I came up to you and said, like, you know, one of my really good friends, like, I haven't heard from them. I've been reaching out. They're just like not responding, and eventually, like, they kind of start to say that like they just are taking distance or whatever. What would you say about that rather than them being like, hey, what's the problem?
I feel like we have to have a conversation. I would approach it like, listen, you know, I'm a little worried or I'm a little concerned. Like, I don't know if it's hurt. There you go. Like, did I do something, you know, to you? And if I did, I really would like to know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I want to take accountability from my end. You know, I really appreciate you and love you as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like I would try. And if not, I mean, that's the radical acceptance. Like, if that person is just ready to cut you off and snip it and ghost you, then maybe they're just not ready. And maybe when they are, they will. You just have to be ready to keep that space open.
Is that your therapist answer?
No, I mean, that's a friend answer too.
Okay.
Yeah. You want me to be like, fuck that bitch.
That's kind of what I thought you were going to be like.
Damn, girl.
Maybe
No,
not.
I mean, not if it's somebody you care about.
Right.
Because that's happened to me before. Oh, okay. I'm going to give you an example.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, you know my friend Diana.
Yes.
Shout out to Diana.
I've never met her, but I heard I would be a little nervous.
So there was a period of time where we just stopped talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wasn't sure what I did either. You know what I mean? I know that there was something that happened, you know, that I had an idea, you know what I mean? But it wasn't necessarily something I did. It just, I'll tell you the situation later. But this is somebody I really cared about. Like, this was my friend. This was my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is my best friend, right? So I'm thinking, like, what the hell? I tried to reach out. She would never answer. You know, at this point, it was like, oh, okay. So, I mean, she's just, she needs time. Mind you, we're young, like early 20s,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not even actually. Like, maybe it was before then. So, I actually had a good relationship with her cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just text her, like, randomly, like, hey, you know, thinking about Diana, how's she doing? You know what I mean? Like, oh, she's good, blah, 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 whatever the case may be.
Were you hoping it would get back to her?
No, I genuinely just wanted to check in on her.
Yes, but like, were you hoping that like maybe she would know, oh, like even though there's distance or space, like Diana's still asking about me?
I don't know if I thought that far along because I didn't even know I was going to be a therapist at that point.
Okay.
Again, this was very, very early on.
Okay.
So I didn't have any type of knowledge on that. I just genuinely, like, that's my friend. Like, I cared about her, haven't heard from her. And I would still reach out, like, even if it was like randomly when I thought about her, like if it's been a while or on her birthday or on a holiday, just wishing you like this, that, and the third. And then I don't remember how long it took, but I don't think it was that long. But anyway, she reached out to me and she was like she was ready to talk. And then we talked about whatever it was. It was like a misunderstanding, I think, or just things going on. And like, that was the only time we've ever had like anything happen. And we've been friends for 20 years now.
Wow.
You know, so sometimes people need their space. Sometimes, you know, they're going through things that we don't know, you know, what it is.
And I think that is a good example, but we have to remember too that sometimes people aren't ever ready to have a conversation.
Nope.
So I think, yeah, like you can keep that space open, but don't get too lost on the fact that like, oh, they're going to come back and we're eventually going to talk, because some people don't.
Yeah. And, you know, it's just important to know that all of this is a process of healing.
Right.
Right. And it's not to become untouchable or just cutting people off like, we're just invincible. It's about learning to become healthier in the way we communicate, in the way that we understand other people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because our way is not always the right way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so getting good, guidance, seeking help when you need it, because I don't know all the answers either.
No. Same. So we have to remember that cutting people off isn't always just protecting your peace. Isolation is not the best either. So mental health is a lot bigger than that. So we want to remember that in our relationships, we want to have emotional safety. We want to have accountability. And we also just want to learn how to continue to create healthy relationships. And whether that entails like creating distance and space in some places or outgrowing others, that doesn't mean that we can't continue to learn in this way.
That's right. Exactly.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode.
See you guys next week.
If you have any questions or would like to connect with us, please follow us on Instagram and send us a DM or send us an email to the platforms listed below.